This
owner of
conference
Travel
will now be recorded.
Welcome to our presentation on France with our Condé Nast recognized specialist, Leatta. You are in for a real treat today. France is Leatta's favorite destination, and she will share the many things to do in France, not complete without food and wine discussions. In the end, we'll also just talk about an incredible France vacation in September of this year. Yes, France is reopening today or tomorrow. It's up in the air, but by September, it should be all ready to go. So now before we get started, we'll go ahead and Leatta, if you could switch the slide, please.
Hi.
Just to remind everybody, we do have everybody on mute. We'd appreciate it if everyone could stay on mute. We also have a chat box, so if you have questions, we'll be answering them throughout the presentation, but definitely at the end of the presentation. And then we'll talk a little bit about Travel Central, so just a moment. Might have to go over there. We seem to have a little bit of a technical difficulty. I apologize for that, but just give us 1 minute and we'll get on to the next slide into this whole presentation on France. As we said, we'll be talking about Paris, the Rhone River. It's really an amazing river with lots of different activities to do. And we'll be talking about the Côte d'Azur, the French Riviera. So it will be today. And like I said, France is, they said June 8th, but we tell everybody, give it a week or two. But I would say it's going to be definitely open next week with flights and hotels and everything else available to go. Like everything in the last year, time will tell. Okay, so here we are. Travel Central has been in business since 1988. We offer our expertise, our resources, and our knowledge from the very moment you plan a trip, from the very moment you think of a trip, all the way to your return home. Our goal is that people come back with incredible memories. We really want to put a seamless vacation together, from your air to your transfers to your rail to your cruise to your independent trips and all your private tours. So that's what Travel Central does. And not only will your experience when planning a vacation be enhanced, the amenities that we can offer, but it'll be a less time-consuming and stressful event for you. This is what we do daily, is sell travel. We also have lots of exclusive amenities and for you. If you have a question, as I said earlier, please put it in the chat box. Please remain mute on the entire time so you will not be that's not the whole presentation for everyone else who's joining us today. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Leatta, who will bring you on a journey through France. Okay, Leatta.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me. I am going to do this presentation, and ultimately I'm going to turn off my camera because it's distracting to me, because I end up fixing my hair and looking at everything. So I'm gonna turn myself off and then turn myself back on again. So off I go right now. Okay, so first off, I know everybody's main question is, before we start talking about the Rhone, is what are the travel restrictions for France as it is today? So France has laid out a color-coded travel system. So without beating around the bush, for the United States, starting on June 9, if you are vaccinated, you will be able to enter the country, because we are an orange country. And you'll have to get your PCR test within 72 hours of the trip, or an antigen test within 48 hours of the trip. Not a big deal. Unvaccinated travelers at this moment can only enter for pressing reasons, and it's very complicated, including a quarantine. They will be shifting countries around. So currently, right now, if you're a vaccinated traveler and you are in their, I think it's their the green countries, such as Japan and Australia. If you're vaccinated, come on in, no test needed. Okay, so with that said, I can see things improving quickly, and by September, I'm sure they're going to be more favorable, but that's as it stands today. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be talking about my personal favorite place, which is the south of France. And here's a little bit about myself. If you don't know me already, I have been creating customized vacations for 22, 23 years. I'm really focused on culinary travel and food experiences to bring you together with your country to really see what it truly is. I believe food and people need to go hand in hand. Okay, so this is a little weird down here. I don't think we can see all of it, but so again, as I'm saying, France, especially the south of France, every area of France has a spin-off on their own food, just like the United States. This is the area of Provence. This is lots of farms. So there's obviously this is also really high in wine. You got a lot of wine and champagne regions all over the place. But this particular one is high with markets. I love walking the markets in the south of France. You can get, oh my gosh, you can get anything there. I tend to carry a food bag around with me and just pop in all sorts of neat little foods and cheeses and whatnot, and just kind of carry it with me and put it in my refrigerator in whatever hotel room or cabin I may be in, and eat what I've kind of picked and bought throughout the day. I find that really rewarding and delicious. This time of year that we're going to be talking about is September, October. This is harvest season, so this is an incredibly popular and exciting time for everybody. They tend to be either finished, depending on when harvest is, at the end of September, or finishing, and they've all worked really hard. They're rewarding themselves. They take time off, and they often start to have a little party themselves. Everybody sits outside. It is more traditional to have more people outside than inside of a restaurant at any time. I love that. It spills out on the streets. We are getting to know this very well in COVID, aren't we? We are now having the pleasure of having all these restaurants putting tables outside, and it's very European and especially very French, which I think is, such a lovely spin-off on our COVID life that we've had here. Okay, so before we start talking about the south of France, just so you know, I will be discussing the areas and the draw to it, but we're also going to be discussing this really beautiful trip that I am inviting you to starting in the end of September. I'll go into more details, and then up the Rhone. One of the things that you can do before this meeting with me down in the south is you can do a Paris trip in the beginning or the end. If you haven't been to Paris, obviously going for a couple nights is very short, but if you have been to Paris and you have been less than 18 times, then you still haven't seen all of Paris. Because all the different districts have their own personality, their own food, their own culture. You can spend an entire few days just in one little district there and really get to know it and get to feel it. So Paris has got something coming back for everybody. Currently, right now, Giverny is opening up as we speak. If you're interested in Disney, Paris, it is opening up, of course. So things are opening up as we speak. I would suspect that by September, Paris is going to be nice and open. You'll still want to work with your travel advisor, such as myself. If you don't have one, I am available to you in order to make sure that any of the must-see sites that you have on your list, such as the Louvre, or I don't know, let's just call that Eiffel Tower is another one. You may have to have appointments preset and they need to be done right away. So that is something that we're offering our services to do for you. There are many, many different ways that you can do things that we can set up for you, such as just taking the Louvre. We have trips where you can do the Louvre with little kids. You can do the Louvre at night on a Wednesday or a Friday when everybody thinks it's closed. It's really spooky and really eerie and gorgeous. So, or other skip the line opportunities and guided possibilities. So, you know, there's 25 different ways that we can help you do one thing. And that's, again, our pleasure to do that. My particular focus, again, is taking you into the real Paris. And everywhere I go, whenever I have an opportunity, being from New Orleans, I like to experience jazz. They're totally enchanted with the New Orleans jazz music. It is different, obviously, in Paris, but they're done in underground caves with no air conditioning and just smoky, and just really, really everything you think like deep Paris is. But again, Paris is everything. It has flea markets and obviously museums. There's just so many things that you can do there that aren't just on the common trip to Paris. France is food. I mean, marketing, going to 4 different places to get one little meal or one picnic together is really an exciting opportunity. A lot of people will take just their neighborhood that they're staying in, and they will go to the fromagerie in the 5th, and they'll go to get their food in the 9th, and they go and get their sweets over here. And so it's a very much of a marketing lifestyle. This is something that we know here locally in New Orleans. We do that ourselves here, but that isn't a traditional way. People like to do a one-stop shop as most as possible. That's the American way. That is not the French way at all. So we are going to be experiencing a lot of food moments and meeting people who are creating these foods and going to the sources and finding them back on our table in the evening, and having you know, the staff get off of this riverboat and go into town and purchasing these things and bringing them back and putting it on your plate. It's really, really, really fascinating to see that happen. If you're interested in that, that is something that you will cannot get enough of. So the Rhone area of the south of France is known for its Côte de Rhone wines. These are very small regions. I don't know a lot of people who are really, really into Côte de Rhone, but it's a very easy to drink wine. If you're not a big wine drinker and you just enjoy wine, sometimes you will find this a very drinkable and accessible wine. It goes with everything, okay? And they even have white Côte de Rhones, believe it or not. So that's very hard to find. This whole area is really fascinating because the Greeks and the Italians came over here and tried to take it from each other left and right. And when they did, they leave these beautiful, you know, amphitheaters and palaces. And so France benefited from this fight that went on and has all these really spectacular places to visit and things to see and wine. And I say here, you know, it arrived in the south of France with the Greeks in the 4th century, and then the Romans used it to get their troops nice and liquored up as they progressed through Europe and conquered everything. So they needed to have wines readily for all their soldiers, and that is part of the fun lore of that area. So now we're going down into the French Riviera, Côte de Rhone, Côte d'Azur. In this area on the Mediterranean, so beautiful. And you have to remember the Mediterranean heats up. So in May, it's cold And as the summer progresses, the Mediterranean warms up. So the end of uh, September is going to be very warm in this area. And then as this experience moves up and into Lyon, Lyon and Paris can be 50 degrees at, a couple weeks later. So this is very seasonal. So the French Riviera, its major town is Nice. It also has my favorite village, which is Cannes, the beautiful medieval town of Antibes. Farther down is another village called Saint-Tropez. I know everybody must have heard of that. And then beautiful Monaco, which is the super small little country and quite a sight to behold. The picture on the left with the fountain, that's Monaco. Interesting about Saint-Tropez, if you'd like to go to Saint-Tropez and either stay there, the best way to travel to Saint-Tropez from Nice is not on the one single lane road, because it's back to back, bumper to bumper, but in fact, we can arrange to have a helicopter take you into Saint-Tropez. Beautiful hotel down there that just serves champagne. So if that's the place for you, let me know. I've got you covered. And it's quite spectacular. So flying into Nice is an option for you to meet us in Marseille. And if you do that, the things to do in this area for a few days beforehand are obviously the beaches. There are some really neat museums and historical forts down in that area. I just want to let you know that Van Gogh and Monet, that's where they had their friendship down there. There's a lot of those places. We have some, I don't remember if it was Vanderbilt or in that genre of having homes down there. F. Scott Fitzgerald and Zelda Fitzgerald lived down there, got into a lot of mischief. They brought their little daughter down there. That mansion they lived in is actually a hotel called Belle Reeves now. Pretty amazing for those people who are into literature. I mean, we've got Picasso who ended up, living the rest of his life out there in Antibes. So it's living history museums, which is really interesting. Very historical, lots of forts, lots of medieval walls, older than that probably. So it's just eye candy everywhere you go. Everything is just stunning. I love this area. I kind of went past this pretty quick, but Nice is a very big city, but there's a tiny little area, Nice Valley, that has, this is this picture on the right, that has the old world charm to Nice. It's gorgeous in this area. And then I just wanted to put this escargot restaurant. So it's a restaurant that just serves snails. And if you would like me to help you arrange a reservation there, I will certainly do that. I would not be joining you. Just want to let you know, but that's your thing. That is in Nice. It's very interesting. This has got the big airport in it. So and it has lots and lots of accommodations, and it's really an easy jump off point to go over to Monaco and go to Cannes. It sits between the two of them. So it's like Monaco, Nice, Antibes, and Cannes, and Saint-Tropez. This is my little place, Cannes. Please don't think that it is all movie stars and glamour. It has a boulevard down, obviously, that has all these beautiful hotels, private beaches where you need to be either staying at the hotel in order to have access to the beach section where they'll serve you cocktails and foods on the sand. But behind it sits a really old village, and it's so charming. You'll see people going down the little pedestrian-only street with their shopping carts, doing exactly what I told you. They go to that fromagerie, and then they picked up that linen, and they're still doing their shopping. This is really working, living, breathing people there. Up behind this area, if you can see my little mouse, you see that ocean area right there. That is the Mediterranean, and here we have beautiful little village of St. Paul de Vence. It's only 30 minutes from Nice. It's gorgeous. And Monaco. This is us, my picture. My friend and I, as we were in Monaco for the evening, gave it a big thumbs up. For this particular trip, I'm inviting everybody to meet us in Marseille. Marseille is only 2.5 hours south of Paris. It's about 2 hours from Nice on the train. We're all going to meet there. Marseille is, look at how beautiful this place is. This town you can spend some time in for sure. It's a good central area to start visiting the Rhone River. So exploring this area, you can do it by train, but you're not going to be able to see all of these beautiful little villages and get to take Europe in the way that it was really supposed to be, which was navigated and built off of the waterways. Again, so this trip is going to start in Marseille and on the 28th and ends on October 5th. You can fly into Paris, you can fly into Nice, you can fly into Marseille even, and you can end in Lyon or Paris. It should be, like I said earlier, about 65 to 78 degrees, perfect weather, in my opinion. Now, one of the things that I want to tell you is why visiting this area by boat is the ideal situation. These towns were built on the river, using the river as, major trading and moving goods from here to there. So really they're the highways. So they're built off of the water highways. And if you're experiencing it, you're experiencing it how it was built, how it really is supposed to be managed, what it's like moving your boat from the left of the river to the right of the river, having a village that is in the center of town is exactly where your boat is because it's built around it. So it's really, really the best way to navigate and move through this gorgeous Rhone River. I don't know if I have Rhone River slide coming up, but I just want to let you know a little bit about the Rhone. It's the only major river that flows directly into the Mediterranean. It's 505 miles long. It starts in Lake Geneva in Switzerland. It then meets in Lyon, and then it flows down into the Mediterranean where Marseille is. Most of the villages, well, all of the villages are there, starting about the 12th century to the 15th century. Village population on a large scale is only 3,500 people. So you can see that it's just these gorgeous little villages. And then moving through them and pulling right up to them is incredible. And we're going to be using this boat, and I like to call it a yacht, a river yacht, not a boat or a cruise. I don't want anybody to think that it's anything like the ocean lining. It's not. It is floating. It is only got, this vessel only has 110 people at max on it. You unpack and you don't have to pack and unpack. You're also, the neat thing about this particular one that I selected is you do a lot of overnights in these villages. So you're out at night, you can come and go. It's like a hotel. If the doors are open, just come on in and go as you please. It's not, there's no loudspeakers like today we're doing that. It's not like that. This is a floating yachted hotel with only 110 people on it. And you're going through all of these villages. And as you can see, it's quite lovely. So real quick, 104 guests is what this is. There's a lot of information that is in this. If you have not been on a riverboat, good, you should go on this one, this being your first one, because it's completely unlike any other river cruising experience. I've been calling it not your mother's river cruise. This one is focused on health and wellness and active and activities. It has bikes, it has canoes, it has kayaks, it has jogging excursions, it has maps for hiking and biking, jogging routes, Fitbits. You have an adventure host on board that will tell you, hey, listen, if you want to take the bike out now, you can write it down, because this river has like a path that goes all the way through it that you can bike path. It never stops where you have to get off and get on. It's continuous. So you can meet the boat, you know, down the river. We're not going very far. These are short little distances that we're traveling. So that is what this is all about. I'll get into the boat, I think, a little bit more later. Oh, well, I'll get into it now. Sorry about that. Okay, so this boat is about, it's all suites. You know, I don't want to get too detailed into why this is different, but bigger cabins. This open window is the biggest one on the rivers. As you can see, it has everything that you could want in it. It's beautiful. The program has an active fitness and wellness program. So it has, like I said, the bikes, the canoes. They have yoga on the top. Isn't that neat in the morning to get some stretch yoga in? The food, I'm super excited about it. Of course, it has 5-course French sauced meals at 1,000 calories, 100%. Exactly what I said they were going to do. Pull the food from the markets, put it on your plate. They also have, for those of us who are interested in not eating like that constantly, a fresh menu. And sorry. And so these two gentlemen are brothers from Vienna who've been brought on board to create healthy choices for people if you want to eat this way. What is also included in these experiences we go up the Rhone is, as we stop, you have a selection of things that you can do or not do. You can go off and go on your own, or you can choose to do biking excursions or cooking workshops or painting workshop. That's done in Arles. Again, we have the kayaks that you can take out. That's Pont de Garde off of an Avignon. All these things you can decide to do in advance or on the fly, which I like to do while I'm in travel and doing these things, because I may meet some people and they're all like, let's go do this instead. So that day you can just kind of pick and choose what you want to do, or do nothing at all, or do anything on your own and use one of the people there to help you arrange your day if you choose. So I'm going to go quick through these. These are the stops that we're making. I don't want to give everything away. I want it to be exciting for you and for me. I haven't been to all of these places, so I'm really excited about being there for the first time. But we're going, the boat is actually docked in, what is this, Port St. Louis de Rhone. And so from Marseille, we are going up into join everybody on the boat here. And then off we go to make several stops in our medieval walled villages and in Provence. Just so you know, 22 of France's most beautiful villages and 8 World UNESCO heritage sites are going to be on our trip. This is just a spattering of the things that you are going to be seeing right off the bat and how it's going to be looking should the weather be this beautiful in these pictures. This is just right off the boat. So this is up the Rhone. Bottom picture is Marseille, and then I can't remember what the little town is on the right, and that's Arles to the left. Let me give you an example here of some of the things that you can do when you're in Arles that will be included. So you can visit an oyster farm. You can bike through a natural park. You can see flamingos on that, or you can take a painting workshop in the style of Van Gogh. I'm leaning towards myself for the Van Gogh painting, but then I want to be outside. I need a travel advisor to help me on that. wonderful experiences. We're going to be spending an overnight in Arles, so we can go out in the evening and explore it either after dinner on the boat or take dinner in Arles on your own. Completely up to you, whatever you want to do. We'll be moving up into Avignon. Avignon, fantastic, fantastic place. I can't give away these beautiful secrets here. This is something that you'll come away with your mind blown for sure. You'll be able to do the kayak excursion. That's the Pope's palace in the background. At one time, the Roman Pope lived in France. You can also attend a wine tasting in an underground cave. Let me explain why this is so unusual. This is an active and discovery program, so it's not your traditional river cruise. For the wine tasting in an underground cave, just to expound on that, you go in, you have to wear special clothes, water-resistant clothes to kind of get through this cave, and then you end up getting into this deep cave and they turn out the lights completely sensory zero, and you taste wine, and it will be a completely different experience on the taste of it because you don't have the same sights and even smells and hearing that you're used to when you're putting them all together. That looks really, really interesting to me, for sure. And again, we're able to spend the night in Avignon and explore Avignon in the evening. As we're going down, we're going into really, really small, charming villages that you probably have never heard of. And there's a guided kayak experience, more underground wine tasting. Then we get straight up into some hardcore wine country right here. We're going to stay in this dinky little town, not the one on the right. The one on the right is Lyon, but the one on the left right here, you could do a ghost tour in the evening, guided bike ride. There's chocolate factory, or just relax, enjoy yourself, go for your own personal walk. It's right off the boat, and this is what you're looking at. You don't have to take a taxi to go for a walk. Moving on down up the river. We're going up the river without a paddle. Again, you can do, well, we have this again in here, sorry about that. You can do hikes through the vineyards. There's lots of vineyard hiking experiences to do. And then you could go meet with a chocolatier, which sounds delicious. And then we make our way into Lyon. Now, as a French food fanatic, and it's really cheese fanatic, but French cheese for me, we're going to Lyon. Lyon is the stomach of France. If you haven't been here, and I've actually spent some time here and plan on continuing after we disembark, I'm going to stay in Lyon to further more explore on my own. I love this place. The food movement Nouveau Cuisine was actually created by a chef here in Lyon who was asked to go with the Olympic team in the 70s to Japan. He saw the beautiful simplicity and preparation of the Japanese food. He took that back to France, put a spin on it, and created the Nouveau Cuisine movement. That's the short version. This is the home of that. So this is, you have I think it's Paul Bouquet or Bousset. I get those two confused. How do you actually pronounce his last name? But he does have a restaurant there that you can go to. So there's a lot to do in Lyon, and we're here for a couple of days with the boat. So we have culinary walks and cooking classes. You can actually go, because we're in the evening, you're overnighting, lots of, wow, talk about some sensational bars to go to. There's a lot of neat places to go here. Oh, I don't know what's happened here in the evening. Sorry about that. So here, this is the boat. There's the map. there's me on the left. So just so you know what the prices are going to be. The prices are starting at $49.44 per person for double occupancy. Where this says single cabin rates available, we have solo travelers going, including myself. I want to encourage anybody who's traveling by themselves to come with us. We have several of us that are solo cabin travelers. Good news, no solo supplement. It just popped up right now. They have waived it, so you don't have to pay double the price to be on this boat with us. Travel Central also has a promotion going on where we're giving you a free pre or post night also. So one night in Marseille or one night in Lyon. I encourage you to do the one night in Marseille with me, because I'm going to hand curate that evening for us before we all jump on the boat. Everything is included, all your food, all of your touring options, beers and wines with breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included. So the prices on this are one night in Marseille for free, and the 7-night Rhone cruises. If you want to do the balcony cabin, it's $54.44. That includes taxes per person. If you want to do a night in Marseille and 2 nights in Paris, 3 days, that should be 3 days, it's $63.43 per person. I want to give you the single supplements. I just got this today, very exciting. So again, $54.44 is the lower cabin. It's still a balcony, but it's the lower balcony cabin for the single rate. And if you want to do the Paris extension, it's $67.92. That Paris extension has, everybody gets off of the boat in Lyon and they'll take in you to the train. You'll take I think it's only an 1.5 to 2 hour train to Paris. Somebody picks you up, takes you to a hotel, and then you have like a half-day option of like a bike tour of Paris, or we can do anything else you want to do. And then you can transfer back to the airport and fly home, or you can stay as many days in Paris as you want. The Air out of New Orleans Avalon program, that has expired. I left this in here because I want you to understand that we don't have a lot of cabins left. So if you want to join us, I don't know how many are left, not enough. So, and we don't want the prices to continue to go up because of France giving us the open travel go, and that's what people have been waiting for in order for them to make the move to book their trip. So I encourage you to contact me right away. Travel insurance is available, obviously. Just a quick enhancements and protocols. They're doing everything that they possibly can to keep everybody safe and healthy. Just in general, they've always been doing that. But when you have big open air balconies, you know, everything gets aired out anyhow. If you'd like more information on this, I'd be happy to send it to you, but it gives you disinfectant centers and da-da-da-da-da. So they've also added more dining options on the boat. So there's a lot of outdoor al fresco dining, which I think is great. There's a barbecue. They've turned one of the little areas into the tables. So more outside. I'm all about it. I think that's great. And that is it. So if you want more information, please reach out to me and I will get that for you. I'm happy to do that. And I encourage you to travel to France and let us know. I think I'm going to close it out from here. So.